Good morning, students. Today we are going to do the Ball poem by John Berryman. Before I start the poem, I want all of you to take out your book and open the text and follow the text from the book itself, as the slide may not be very clear. Okay, as it is using the poem that is there in the book, so you can follow the poem from the book itself. Okay. Now, student, this Ball poem is a very important poem from your perspective, from your point of view. Okay, as adolescent teenage learners, it is very important that you understand that how it feels when you lose something. Okay, how a child or a young boy or a young girl feels when he or she loses something. Now, one of the most overwhelming, or overpowering fear that we all have in our mind is the fear of loss, isn't it? Loss of what? It can be loss of relationship, losing your near and dear ones, losing your friendship, losing your other kind of important relationship, okay, losing something in your career, or it can be anything. It can be any material thing as well. So fear of loss is something that is predominantly occupying a very major part of our psyche, isn't it, of our mind, isn't it? When you ask yourself a question that what you are afraid of, you will obviously come up that question, that your brain will automatically pop up certain things that you are fear of, you are afraid of losing. It can be your fear of losing your loved ones, fear of not being able to perform well in your studies, or maybe fear of losing your friendship, relationship, etc. Isn't it? Now, in this poem, the ball is a symbol. The poet has here beautifully used the figure of speech symbolism here, isn't it? And we know what is symbolism. Symbolism is a figure of speech in which one particular object is used to represent plethora of other things, myriad other things, isn't it? So here the ball merely does not suggest a physical ball, okay, a plaything. Here the ball signifies even a very important aspect of life. What is it? It is our possession. Okay, whatever we possess, it could be people, it could be human beings, or it could be any other material things that we have in our life, and the fear of losing those things or those people. Okay, now here in this poem, a small boy loses a ball. Please let us read the introduction, students. A small boy, he loses a ball and he is very upset. Obviously, for a small boy, for a small kid, his ball is very important to him, isn't it? Because he may be having many other expensive toys at home, but he is attached with this ball, isn't it? He has some kind of attachment with this ball, because he plays with this ball regularly, and he has a host of memories connected with this ball, right? So he is very upset. A ball doesn't cost much, isn't it? Nor is it difficult to buy another ball. It does not really cost much to buy a ball, isn't it? His parent may buy him a new ball. But it is not about buying any ball. It is not about any ball. It is about that particular ball with which that boy has associated certain memories, right? Now, why then is the boy so upset? The boy is definitely upset because he has so many emotions connected to, pertaining to that ball, isn't it? So he is upset. Now let us read the poem and let us see what is there inside the poem. Okay, what is the boy now who has lost his ball? What is he to do? I saw it go. Now here I is the poet or the speaker, you can say, who is observing the boy from a very closer proximity. Okay, the person here, I, the speaker or the poet, is observing the boy, the small boy, very closely, okay, and very minutely. So the poet is here saying, I saw it go, merrily bouncing down the street, and then merrily over. There it is in the water. No use to say, oh, there are other balls. An ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy as he stands rigid, trembling, staring down all his young days into the harbor where his ball went. I would not intrude on him. A dime, another ball is worthless. Now he senses first responsibility in a world of possessions. People will take balls. Balls will be lost always, little boy. And no one buys a ball back. Money is external. He is learning well behind his desperate eyes the epistemology of laws. How to stand up, knowing what every man must one day know, and most know many days how to stand up. Such a beautiful poem, isn't it, student? So what is the basic idea in this poem? The basic idea is that a small boy, he loses his ball, okay, and then he is terribly shaken by the grief of this loss, because it was not simply a ball that he has lost, but he has lost the memories that he had built upon this ball, isn't it? So many splendid, beautiful memories of his childhood was related with this ball. Now, with the loss of this ball, his memories are all also lost, isn't it? And so he is grief stricken. He is overwhelmed by pain and grief and the fear of loss. Okay, loss of what? Loss of a mere ball, but which is very important for this boy, isn't it? Because it contains it contains loads of memories for him. Now here the poet says that with some amount of money, because a ball does not cost much, isn't it? A parent can buy a new ball to the child, but the parent will not be able to buy the memories, because money cannot buy memories, isn't it? Money can buy only physical things, but it can buy only materialistic things, but it cannot buy the memories associated with a particular object, right? So here the poet is saying that, but then it is essential that the boy should learn how to cope up with losses, because as he will grow up into an adult, it will be quite natural for him to lose many things. He will be losing friendship, he may face failure in his love relationship, he may face failure in career, he may face failure in so many other things, isn't it? In his job, it can be anywhere, in any aspect of, in any walk of life, he may face failure, he may face losses, isn't it? And he has to cope up with that loss, isn't it? Now let us take up the poem stanza wise. There is only one stanza in this poem, okay? The poem is written in one stanza, so let us take it line by line. What is a boy now who has lost his ball? What is he to do? Now the small boy has just lost his ball. Now the poet is saying, I'm observing this boy very closely, and I'm trying to figure out that how he feels after losing the ball. What is he going to do now? I saw it go. I here does not refer to the boy. I here is the passive person who is standing there, the observer, the passive observer, that is the poet, who is standing there and observing the boy. Okay, silently he is observing the boy, and there are so many things that is going inside the poet's mind now as he observes this little boy. So I saw it go. So the poet is saying, I saw it. It here refers to the ball. I saw the ball go. Okay, it merrily bounced down the street over and over again, and finally it went into the water. Okay, so the ball skipped out of the hand of the little boy, and it bounced and got into the water. Now there is no use to say, oh, there are other balls. Okay, this boy may be having so many other balls in the house, but that ball was very special to him, isn't it? So there is no point of consoling this little boy by saying that don't worry, there are other balls, because he will not understand, because he is attached with that particular ball with which he was playing for so many days. So there is no point of trying to console this little child by saying, oh, there are other balls, because this boy is now shaken by what? Grief. An ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy. He becomes rigid. Okay, the boy becomes rigid, and he grief has taken over the boy's emotion, he is, he is emotionalized. Okay, he is completely emotionalized. He becomes, stiff and rigid. He's trembling, his heart is trembling, okay, beating very fast. He's staring down at the ball. He's looking at the ball slipping out of his hand and moving into the water. And not only he's seeing not only his ball slipping out of his hand, but he can see that his memory slipped out of his hand and was going into the water. So as he stands rigid, okay, trembling, shaking there, he's staring means to look, okay, look constantly where? Down, where all his young days into the harbor where his ball went. So along with that ball, he also saw, that little boy also felt that all his young days, that means all his childhood days, were also taken into the harbor. Harbor means the port, the water, you can say. So that was taken into the pond or the water or whatever water body was there. I would not intrude on him. The poet is saying, I can see that the boy is in so much grief, so much of pain, okay, but I won't interfere. As a parent, as an adult, as a guardian, as a teacher, I will not interfere here. I will allow this child to face this grief. It is important for him to face this grief all alone. He has to learn how to face the odds of life. He has to come, he has to come with confrontations of life, different confrontations of life. He has to face all these confrontations, all these problems, all these losses, and he has to face and solve these conflicts himself. Okay, so he's saying, the poet is saying that I'm there as an adult observing the boy, okay, and as I stand, I want him to face this situation all alone. I just don't want to intrude matlab to interfere. I don't want to interfere here and try to console the boy, because I want him to be a strong man when he grows up, isn't it? So if I go and start pampering this boy, then what will happen? He will always expect that there will be someone beside me whenever I lose something, isn't it? So it is not a good idea to go and console him immediately now, because he has to face many other losses in his future, in his life. He has to learn how to cope up with losses. So as an adult, as a parent, or as a teacher, or as whoever a guardian, I'm not supposed to go and interfere immediately after a loss, after the child loses something. I have to give him some time to cope up with the loss. Let him go through pain, let him go through all this grief, okay, because that is also so much important. That is also a life lesson for this boy, isn't it? So he's saying that his ball went. I would not intrude on him. That means I won't interfere. A dime, another ball is worthless. Yes, any parent, any guardian can buy another ball to this boy with only a dime. A dime is a currency, US currency, currency for 10 cents. 10 cents is equals to 1 dime. So he's saying that only with a dime a parent can buy another ball to this boy, but that is worthless. Okay, that is worthless for two reasons. One is, that is worthless, why? Because that new ball is not going to bring back the old memories that has been lost with the old ball, isn't it? This is one thing. And second thing is that if I buy a new ball to this boy, then he will not understand what is responsibility. What is responsibility? Here comes, this brings us to the next part of the poem. Okay, now here the poet is trying to talk about responsibility. The poet is basically here all through talking about losses and responsibility. What are the losses that one may face in their life, and how to cope up with this, and how to take up our responsibility. So he's saying that if I buy him a new ball, if a parent, an adult, buy this little boy a new ball, then there are two problems. Okay, one problem is that this ball, new ball, is never going to get back the old memories that the child has lost with his old ball. This is one thing. And second thing is that he will not understand the sense of responsibility, because with this loss he has understood that I should take care of my belongings. I should take care of my belongings. If as an adult I buy him another ball, then this boy will be careless and he will once again, he will lose that ball also, isn't it? But as a parent, if I don't buy him a new ball, then he will understand the importance of his previous ball. in a far better way, and he will be a responsible boy now. Next time when he gets something or he plays with something, okay, or any, then what will happen? He will take care of that thing very careful, isn't it? Okay, now coming to a different perspective, what will happen if this boy is not taught how to be responsible? Then he will grow up as an irresponsible adult, isn't it? He will be irresponsible about his task, about his relationships, about everything, about his job, everything, isn't it? So once he understands how it feels, okay, how much of pain is incurred when you lose something, he will be careful from next time. He will be a responsible man. So I should not interfere and try to console him, and secondly, I should not buy him a new ball, because both of these two are going to damage the personality of this child, isn't it? So he senses first responsibility, because now for the first time he senses first responsibility. For somewhere at the back of his mind, deep within, inside his soul, he will have that feeling that if had I been a little bit more responsible, then I wouldn't have had lost my ball. So this kind of that feeling of responsibility, the feeling of loss, and at the same time the feeling of responsibility. Okay, one is how to cope up with the feeling of loss, and the second is how to develop responsibility. Both these two will now come in his mind, isn't it? Now the poet says, in a world of possessions, it is important that we are responsible. Okay, in a world of possessions, in this materialistic world, possessions means what? Owning something, ownership. Now this world, students, if you look around, this world is all about what? Ownership, isn't it? We have reduced this world into what? A mere act of what? Ownership. We have started believing that this world is everything that is there around us is ours, right? Any relationship, it is all about possessiveness. Okay, someone is my friend, okay, someone is a good friend of mine. If that friend is talking to another friend, then I'm jealous of my that other person. What does it mean? It means your possessiveness about your friend. You don't want your friend to talk to someone else, okay, because you have that fear of losing your friendship, right? So behind everything there is always that fear of loss. Now he is saying that in a world of possessions, he is talking from a very pragmatic, from a very practical point of view. What is he saying? That yes, we have to accept that this world is full of possessions, okay, belongingness. So here people will take balls will be lost always. So there will be many people who will take away your balls, that means take away your possessions. Okay, possessions here does not merely mean materialistic things, it can be anything. Okay, someone may break your trust. Okay, so that is also a kind of a loss. Okay, you are losing your trust. So he is saying that people will break your heart, people will break your trust. Okay, so people will take balls. Now here ball is what it is symbolized, isn't it? It is a symbol of so many other things in life. Balls will always be lost always. So we are going to lose balls. Balls here does not once again means physical balls, students. Balls here means here plenty of other things. It can be anything. So I may face failure in my career, in my relationship. I may face a problem in my family with my parents. There may be conflict within my family, with my siblings, with my brother and sister. So many other things. Okay, I may lose my loved ones. So loss is something. What? Loss is something ingrained in us, isn't it? It is something inseparable, inevitable, you can say. So the poet is saying that loss is something that is inevitable. We cannot escape loss. Okay, we have to face losses, but we also have to learn how to cope up with those losses, and also how to be more responsible, so that we don't lose many things. And no one buys a ball back. Okay, so once you lose something in this world, okay, don't expect that someone else will come and will pamper you, or will buy. Here buying a ball means what? Here it means don't expect that there will be always someone beside you who will be there to console you. Okay, there is a famous song, Rabindra Sangeet, written by Rabindranath Tagore. Okay, so in that Ekla Cholo Re, right? You all must have heard that song. That when when no one responds to your call, you should have the courage to move onward all alone. ওকে, যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে। হোয়াট ডাজ ইট মিন? দ্যাট ইফ নো ওয়ান লিসেন্স টু ইয়োর কল, ইফ দেয়ার ইজ নো ওয়ান beside you, you have to walk all alone. You should have that courage, okay, to walk all alone. So here the poet is saying that no one buys a ball bag. That there may be times in your life when you find no one beside you. There may be no one. Your parents may be misunderstanding you, your friends may be misunderstanding you, your lover may be misunderstanding you, your boss may be misunderstanding you, okay? So don't expect, my dear child, that there will be always a person who will always understand you or will always pamper you, okay? So money is external. What is he saying? That money is external. Yes, money can buy what? Money can buy many things, external things, but it cannot buy what? It cannot buy happiness, it cannot buy memories, it cannot buy responsibilities, isn't it? Cannot buy the loss that we incur in our life, isn't it? So there is a famous advertising quote, right? And there is everything that money can buy except, what is it? I forgot somehow, okay? So now he is saying he is learning well behind his desperate eyes. He is learning, this child is learning, okay? It was not simply a loss, but he is also learning well behind his desperate eyes. That means his hopeless, desperate, his restless eyes. He is learning why is his eyes desperate? Because he can see that his ball is disappearing, okay? He is losing his ball. So he, in that act of losing his ball, he is also learning something. What is it learning? The epistemology of loss. Okay, students, you can refer to the meaning here. Epistemology means what? Understanding the nature of loss. That is what it means to lose something. That means epistemology is what? The knowledge. It is the knowledge of losing something, how you feel when you lose something. So this boy is learning what? He can see that his favorite ball is disappearing. At the same time, he is also learning, okay? He is learning how to stand up, okay? How to stand up, how to cope up with loss, how it feels when you lose something, and how to stand up, how to be more responsible, knowing what every man must one day know. Okay, this is something, a lesson. This is a lesson. It is a bitter lesson, I can say, because this is a kind of a lesson that we will learn from very bitter experiences, okay? But then from this he is going to learn, and this is something that every man should learn someday, okay? Today or tomorrow you all have to learn how to cope up with losses, how to be more responsible, and most know many days how to stand up. And many of us, the good thing is that many of us can cope up with our losses, isn't it? Otherwise you can see, students, like, see, I lost my mother a couple of years back, right? Before that, it was so difficult for me to even think of that my mom will be no longer there in my life, isn't it? But then what happened? I haven't even felt that if my mom is no more there, then I will also be no more there. But it didn't happen that way, isn't it? The loss of my mom's death also has taught me how to cope up with that loss, isn't it? It is very difficult, but at the same time, that also teaches you that I have other responsibilities as well. I cannot go into depression, I cannot be sad, I cannot sulk, I cannot brood over what I have lost. The memory is there, okay, the pain is there, but then I know that I have to stand up, because there are other people associated with me. I have to be more responsible, okay? So I cannot give up, right? And then every man, this is the best part of our life, that even though that loss is irreparable, okay, huge loss, but at the same time, human psychology is endowed with that kind of a power to bear with such huge losses, right? We lose things, but at the same time we also learn how to cope up with our losses, okay? And also how to stand up and how to face such such difficult times with our head high. I hope you all have understood this poem, students. Only 5-6 minutes are left, so I don't want to discuss the literary device today because I may not be able to finish it. But I hope you all have understood the overall theme of the poem, isn't it? The recurrent theme in this poem is what? That it is inevitable that we lose something every day, isn't it? Every time in our life, okay? Loss is something that is a part and parcel of our life, okay? Now this is the first thing. Second thing is what? Second thing is that losing something also teaches us how to bear with our losses. Okay, it is a kind of a life lesson. And third thing is that it also teaches us to be responsible. Okay, and the ultimate thing is that whatever we lose, we may lose the biggest asset of our life, but no, we are endowed with that power of also facing those kind of losses, isn't it? So students, so what I want to say is that, as adolescent learners, as teenage learners, you all are very sensitive. I can understand you all are very sensitive towards your immediate environment, at home, with your parents, at school, with your teachers, with your friends. So there are times when you feel very low, isn't it? Feel very low maybe because you are not performing well in your studies, or maybe you are not performing well with your relationship, or relationship with your with your parents. Sometimes you have arguments with your parents, with your siblings, with your friends. Okay, and then there are times when you are losing certain relationships, there are times when you are losing marks. Okay, but don't take it too much to your heart. I mean, don't brood over such situation for a very longer period of time, because at the same time you also have to learn to be more responsible, isn't it, and move forward in your life, because you cannot get stuck in one point. If you lose something, you cannot stuck in that point. You have to move forward, right? You have to move forward because you have other responsibilities also. Okay, there may not be one thing that has worked properly for you, but for that one particular thing you cannot take a big decision, isn't it? Or you cannot just remain there for a very long time. You have to move forward. Okay, you have to move forward, with all courage and with all bravery. Okay, I hope you all have understood this poem. So in my next class I will explain the literary devices and also the question answers. And some of you have wanted me to explain the value based questions, okay, of the previous chapters that I have done with you. So I will take up one class for that. I will be discussing how to write value based questions, what are the points you can write, and that I will try to do in live class, so that you are able to give me the points from your side. That is how I did in my previous in previous session also. The students, they read the text thoroughly, and they themselves, they gave me various points. Okay, how you have to ensure that your answer is enriched with many points when you are writing value based point answer. You should not repeat the same point again and over again. Try to add more and more points. That means it needs analysis and synthesis, isn't it, of a particular chapter or a text. And you have to analyze a character, okay, in a very deep way, and also you have to synthesize all those points, and you have to write your answer. So we will take up one lesson for that. Okay, thank you students. So please read the poem and try to understand. If there is any difficulty, you can message me. Okay, thank you.